This is terrorist Pannu murder plot in the United States, where an Indian pleads guilty in the Kill K terrorist plot. It's Nikhil Gupta who's come out to plead guilty in the New York court. US comes out to say, in fact, a report from the United States states at this point that plot was to eliminate the Khalistani terrorist. Nikhil Gupta was alleged aide of Vikas Yadav. Yadav allegedly worked for Indian intel. Indian origin Nikhil Gupta faces jail in the United States. DEA expose busted the contract killing. Hitman hired by Gupta was undercover cop. The US has also come out to report that Yadav wanted to pay $1 lakh, that is $100,000, to kill Pannu, and FBI issues this statement on Indian pleading guilty. In fact, the FBI has also come out to report that the effort was to silence a vocal critic of the Indian government, will defend the United States against those who target us. Again, Nikhil Gupta will be facing justice, is what the United States has to say at this point of time. Now, Rohit Sharma joining me on the broadcast with more details on this very story. Rohit, a very good morning to you. This has been a case that has been in the court of law in the United States for quite some time, but Nikhil Gupta now coming out to plead guilty gives it a new direction wherein he will now be facing jail term in the United States itself.
Good morning, Shreya. Yes, so just to give a brief background, he was arrested, him being the 54-year-old Mr. Gupta was arrested in Czech Republic in 2023, June 30th, 2023 to be exact. At that point in time, he was brought into the U.S. This happened literally 11 days after Hardeep Nijjar was murdered in Canada, and the FBI, DEA got into action and they arrested Gupta in Czech Republic. And now, after almost 2.5 years, he was presented in the court where he pleaded guilty to pay $15,000 in cash in New York to plot a murder, and this was an advance payment that he pleaded guilty to. So that was the case he was arrested for. His next hearing is going to be in May. He is a citizen of India, and he's admitted that he's involved with drugs and other criminal activities, and looks like the hearing for his punishment is going to be in May, where he could probably get a maximum of 10 years of sentence for plotting to murder a U.S. citizen.
Right, Rohit. Rohit, if we get into the details of what happened, he was first arrested from Czechoslovakia, if I'm not wrong at this given point of time. And what happened then was the Czech Republic, that is, that's where he was arrested in 2023, and then he was extradited to the United States. And post that, the case has been taken up by the court of law in the US itself, and now he comes out to plead guilty. If we could just focus on the court proceedings that's happened currently, wherein he's come out to plead guilty, what all does it set in front of him at this point? You were saying he has a 10-year jail term that he might be facing at this given point of time. What more details do we have of the legal course and where this is headed for him?
Well, since he's already pleaded guilty, obviously he can come back and, hire another lawyer, change course. But the fact that he was asked in the court, about his crimes, and he pleaded guilty to both the charges, essentially the murder plot and also for money laundering. Now, the money laundering is about another 20 years, and the plot for murder is essentially 10 years. So we'll have to wait and watch what the court decides. He, again, was pending, his hearing for the longest time. As I said, he was arrested 2.5 years ago. There have been certain motions, but essentially, I think today, when he was asked specifically, does he have anything else to add? Does he plead guilty? And he just pleaded guilty. So we'll have to wait and watch how it turns out. The attorney general in SDNY made it pretty clear that Mr. Gupta was aware when he was making these payments what he was trying to do, and he pleaded guilty to that as well. So I think it is kind of a shocker, because initially he had claimed that he had no idea what was going on. He was arrested on false charges. But I think when he came in today, I think he surprised everybody by essentially pleading guilty. And as I said, I think this is a charge that also is important in the sense that the person of interest or the person that which has been put into the court is Mr. Pannu, who happens to be somebody who has been calling for a separate state in India, Khalistan to be specific. So I think that is why it's such a big issue. Now we'll have to wait and watch if he changes course in the next few months. But Nikhil Gupta, who initially said that he had nothing to do with this, came to the court, said yes, he knew what he was doing, yes, he made those payments, and identified himself as a citizen of India who was an international narcotics and weapons trafficker who got involved in this so-called plot to murder a U.S. citizen named Gurpatwant Singh Pannun.
Right, Rohit. Rohit, do stay with us. We also have Anshul Singh joining us on the broadcast with more details at this point of time that we are gathering and we have gathered over the years in Delhi. Anshul, a very good morning to you. Let's understand this from the Indian perspective as well. Nikhil Gupta is somebody who was, in fact, initially it had come to lights that he was being linked to the Indian government. And the link being Vikas Yadav. And initially, of course, he had denied all charges, but today, him pleading guilty in the court of law in the United States. Firstly, do take us through the charges that he is facing and how that will, in fact, be playing out against him in terms of sentence. And also, the Indian link that's been spoken about since years, the plot to kill Pannu. That is what he's been arrested and alleged of. If you could just throw some more light on that.
Well, yes, this is a very significant development that has happened, and this could actually also have a lot of diplomatic repercussions as well at this point, because remember the manner in which Nikhil Gupta has actually gone ahead and pleaded guilty to the allegations that were initially put against him of actually plotting to kill a U.S. citizen. The U.S. citizen in this case being Gurpatwant Singh Pannun, who is Khalistani terrorist, as has been designated from India, and how we have heard of Pannu spewing venom from US against India. Now this arrest happened actually from Czech Republic, and he was then extradited back to the United States. Now yesterday, that is on the 13th of February itself, he has gone ahead and pled guilty to all these charges, and the sentence could actually, maximum sentence could actually be 10 years in this case. The next date of hearing is supposed to be on 29th of May. Now, it is very interesting to note that how Nikhil Gupta was actually trapped by the US authority. Remember, it is being said that the other co-accused, that is Vikas Yadav, was the person, and allegedly is what the Attorney General has said, that basically Vikas Yadav was the person who was working for RAW, is what the allegation is, and then eventually through Nikhil Gupta, he went ahead and hired a person to go ahead and carry out this entire killing. Now, the evidences that has been gathered by the agencies over there is that they have, in fact, a few chats. They have those evidences that actually tell that how Nikhil Gupta initially transferred money of approximately $15,000 to the assassin, and not only this, but also he went ahead and shared the details and movement details of the said U.S. citizen Gurpatwant Singh Pannun as well. And in fact, the person that was hired was actually a person of the DEA, and this entire trap was in fact laid from the side of the authorities in agencies in the United States of India, and Nikhil Gupta fell right in it, is what the allegation is what the arguments that have happened in front of the courts. So the name of Indian Intelligence Agency RAW has come up. The name of Nikhil Gupta, whose connection with the person who is allegedly working for RAW, has come up, and all this has been said in a court in the United States. So definitely we saw what happened in Canada after the killing of Harpreet Singh Nijjar as well, how the Indian-Canada relations went absolutely downhill initially for the first few days. So this entire case could also have larger diplomatic scenarios, it remains to be seen what will the court decide on the 29th of May, where the next date of hearing is. For how many years will Nikhil Gupta be punished? Because this entire plot was just hashed. Nothing was done. Nothing could have been done on the ground because the U.S. authorities were vigilant enough to go ahead and catch Gupta before this entire alleged plan could come into action in the United States.
Right, Anshul. Thank you for all those inputs and also bringing us up to date as to what all has been happening over the years ever since his arrest from Czech Republic in 2023. Rohit, I'll come back to you with one question, which is the diplomatic impact of this very arrest. Because if we just take a look, India initially had expressed grave concern when he was first arrested in 2023. They had even said that, firstly, of course, there was denial of any government involvement in the very first place, but also it had provided certain assistance with regards to consular access as well when he was first arrested in 2023 in Czech Republic itself. Now, today with this man coming ahead and pleading guilty, where does this put the diplomatic ties between India and the United States?
I think, as far as the relationship goes, I don't think it would be defined by, essentially can't be defined by this case. Look, he has come out and pleaded guilty. He said, he was dealing with drugs and narcotics and he's a weapons trafficker. I think something that Indian government has also mentioned, that there are gangs that are operating, who do indulge in such kind of activities. Let's wait and watch, what the Indian government decides to do, what kind of statement it issues. But I think at this point in time, Shriyat, frankly, I don't think this would put any dent in the relationship. This case has been going on for 2.5 years. I'm pretty sure that, India will come out and issue a statement to, A, clarify their position, and B, also try to explain and respond to some of the things that have been admitted in court, which is the fact that Indian intelligence was, according to the U.S. court documents, that the Indian intelligence was in fact behind this, that they were the ones responsible for the murder of Nidjar in Canada, and that there is a gentleman named Vikas who is an Indian or ex-Indian intelligence officer who was basically doing this on his own. So we'll have to wait and watch what India decides to do. But I think it would not definitely, derail anything, or it would not cause any heartburns, as to say, between the India and the U.S. relationship. This is, one of those, as we call, the parallel tracks, some disagreements that will continue as the relationship moves forward. But I think it'll be interesting to see what the Indian government responds and what kind of statement they put out in response to what Mr. Gupta has done today in the court, which is pleading guilty to plotting a murder to hire a U.S. citizen, who in this case happens to be the Khalistani separatist, Gurpatwant Singh Pannun.
Right, Rohit. Thank you for bringing us all those details. Definitely, we will still be awaiting that statement that comes in from India at this point of time, the Indian government, the Ministry of External Affairs. But for now, this comes in as a very crucial piece of news that we are, in fact, bringing to you, viewers. Nikhil Gupta, the person who has been in custody since 2023 November, arrested in Czech Republic first and then extradited to the United States, linked with Vikas Yadav, is now pleading guilty, has in fact pleaded guilty, and is now facing almost more than 10 years of sentence in the court of law in the United States.